Beautiful spring morning, and I harvested some cilantro from the garden. So I just went to the grocery store and mangoes were on sale. So I wanted to share this recipe with you. This is something that I've made quite a bit in the past. It's mango salsa. So what you'll need for this recipe is some cilantro, of course. If you like cilantro, you'll want to use that. I like cilantro, so I'll use a lot of it. Some salt, some limes, a couple of limes, depending on how much juice I get out of those. I have 2 of them. A jalapeno pepper, a couple of mangoes, and then I also picked some baby red onion from the garden and some green onion. You can use some red onion in yours. I wouldn't use very much, just use a tiny bit because we're going to put this in the refrigerator. And unless you're planning to eat it all the same day, you may not want to put the red onion, a lot of red onion in there because it will get so strong over time. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. This is really simple to make. So first I just want to go ahead and get my mangoes ready. Now when I select a mango, I always select by the feel. I like for it to give just a little bit. I don't like for there to be a soft spot on it. You don't want anything that has a soft spot. So this is just how I do it. I'll take off the end. So I'm going to go ahead and just give this a quick peel. Okay, now I'm going to dice it down. And you can kind of feel the inside of that. If it's real fibrous, it's around the pit, so I don't cut into that. If my knife doesn't go through it, I just keep turning and look for something that gives. I'm going to go ahead and take off anything else here that's not real fibrous. I'm probably not going to use the rest of that. Okay? I'm just going to transfer this to a little glass container that I have a lid on so I can put this in my fridge for the day. I'm going to go ahead and chop up the other one. Now I have gloves on, and you should always wear gloves when you're working with peppers, even jalapeno pepper. It's very hot, and you will learn the lesson the hard way, probably, if you haven't already. You know that if you've cut a jalapeno before, if you don't wear gloves, and then you go and touch your eye later, you will be in dire pain. So always wear gloves when you work with a hot pepper, even a jalapeno pepper. And I'm going to go ahead and use the seeds and everything. It's going to be a little hot. Finely chop this, guys. Okay, so we'll put our peppers in here. Okay, now for the onions. I'm going to take off just the little root part here into the compost. That's my green onion, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this red onion here. I'm going to get just the base of it, make sure I cut off any of the bottom that might be kind of dirty. Yeah, that's about as far up as I'm going to go on this one. And then I'm going to take my my green onion, and I'm going to do all of this. Okay, so there's my onion. Okay, so now I'm going to take my cilantro, and if you've not seen my video on how to organize and store your herbs in your windowsill, I'll include a link where you can check that out. Now let me see how much I have here. I'm going to take about half of this. And it really smells good too. Okay, so I'm going to give this a good chop here. I'm going to discard these. And I'll go back through here one more time. Okay. There. Now these are going to go into the mango. I like a lot of cilantro. If you are making this, if you don't like cilantro, leave it out. And even if you do like cilantro, add half of what I did. I just like to add a lot of it, so that's just my preference. That's one of the things that's nice about making things for yourself, is that you can add some of more of the flavors that you like. Okay, now for our limes. I'm going to get to see how juicy these are, or not juicy. Alright, so Doesn't look very seedy, so I'm going to go ahead and just squeeze it right in here. This is pretty juicy. Good. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of salt on it. And I'm going to give it a nice little toss just to see how the juices and everything are looking here. Add the rest of my lime. And I would taste it now, but it really doesn't, I think, have a really good flavor until it's been sitting in the fridge for a little while. It's good with just about anything, but especially like a blackened fish. It's just so good. And I'll include a link to another video where I use this with my fish and some rice and beans. So you can see how I used it there. I went to the seafood market yesterday, and she had some wonderful triggerfish. I was so happy to see it. The two people in front of me were buying it too, and I was so hoping there would be some left for me. And there was about 1.5 pounds left, and I bought all 5 pieces. So that's what I'm going to have with my mango salsa here in a minute. I'm going to blacken up a piece of that, and that's what I'm going to eat. I blackened up some of that fish. It was really good. And I'm going to have some of this mango here to go along with it. Put a little bit of lime on my fish. And in the back there is some red tea, and iced red tea, so I will include a link to that if you want to try it out. I love that tea. And then over here I have some coconut rice and beans left over from last night. I'll include a link for that as well if you like coconut rice and beans. And then, like I said earlier, I'll also include a link for another way that you can serve the mango salsa. I've also served it with just like chicken or whatever. So I'm going to have a bite of this, and thanks so much for watching.